This is a story about a king and a dervish, which was reportedly one of Abdu'l-Baha's favorite stories about the nature of detachment. A dervish is a member of an Islamic religious order who has taken vows of poverty and austerity. Once there was a king who had many spiritual qualities and whose deeds were based on justice and loving kindness. He often envied the dervish who had renounced the world and appeared to be free from the cares of this material life. For he roamed the country, slept in any place when night fell, and chanted the praises of God during the day. He lived in poverty, yet thought he owned the whole world. His only possessions were his clothes and a basket in which he carried the food donated by his well-wishers. The king was attracted to this way of life. Once he invited a well-known dervish to his palace, sat at his feet, and begged him for some lessons about detachment. The dervish was delighted with the invitation. He stayed a few days in the palace, and whenever the king was free, preached the virtues of a mendicant's life to him. At last, the king was converted. One day, dressed in the garb of a poor man, he left his palace in the company of the dervish. They had walked together some distance when the dervish realized that he had left his basket behind in the palace. This disturbed him greatly, and informing the king that he could not go without his basket, he begged permission to return for it. But the king admonished him, saying that he himself had left behind his palaces, his wealth and power, whereas the dervish, who had preached for a lifetime the virtues of detachment, had at last been tested and was found to be attached to this world, his small basket. The possession of vast earthly goods is often misunderstood to be the only form of attachment, but this is not so. Though riches may be a mighty barrier that impede man from obtaining true spiritual virtues, and those with vast material wealth are often in great danger of attachment, it is also equally possible for those with few worldly possessions to become attached to material things. Going a level deeper, it is also possible to become attached to intangible elements that may distract us from transcending beyond our selfish attachment to self. Man's boastful pride in his accomplishments, his knowledge, his position, his popularity within society, and above all, his self-centered love for his own self are some of the barriers which come between him and God. To rid one's self of these attachments is not easy. It can be a painful process and may indeed prove to be a spiritual battle which lasts a lifetime. And so, as we walk on this continual path of spirituality, we need to evaluate our levels of attachment, not only to material plenitude, but to those intangible or seemingly insignificant elements of life too. This is a creation from Baha'i Inspiration. Reflect and be inspired.